The bar graph illustrates the number of applications for 4 different majors: engineering, medicine, business, and arts. Business has the highest number of applications, at approximately 340, followed by engineering with 300 applications. Medicine records around 150 applications, while arts has the lowest figure, at about 100 applications. Overall, business is the most popular major, whereas arts is the least popular among the 4 majors. The donut chart illustrates the distribution of educational resources across 5 different areas. Sports facilities receive the largest share at 30%, followed by arts investment at 25%. Teaching quality accounts for 20%, while technology equipment represents 15%. Library resources have the smallest share, at 10%. Overall, the chart shows that sports facilities receive the highest allocation, whereas library resources receive the lowest.
The pie chart illustrates the viewership distribution of different types of TV programs. Drama has the largest share at 30%, followed by news with 25%. Comedy accounts for 20%, while sports represents 15%. Documentary programs have the smallest share, at 10%. Overall, the chart shows that drama programs are the most popular among viewers, whereas documentaries are the least preferred. The flowchart illustrates the process of making wine, from harvesting grapes to the final bottling stage. First, grapes are harvested when they reach the right level of ripeness. Next, the grapes are crushed and pressed to extract the juice. In the third stage, the juice goes through fermentation, where yeast converts sugar into alcohol. After fermentation, the wine undergoes clarification to remove unwanted particles and impurities. It is then aged in barrels or tanks to develop its flavor and aroma. Finally, the wine is bottled and sealed, making it ready for consumption. Overall, the process consists of 6 main stages, beginning with harvesting and ending with bottling.
The map illustrates the average annual burned acreage by state in the United States from 1984 to 2020. The colors represent different levels of land burned, ranging from low to high. The western states show the highest levels of burned acreage, with Idaho, California, Oregon, and Washington having comparatively greater figures. In contrast, most states in the central and eastern regions recorded relatively lower levels. The map also includes Alaska and Hawaii, while some areas are marked in gray because of insufficient data. Overall, the map indicates that wildfires affected western states much more heavily than most other parts of the United States during this period. The table presents historical data on bauxite mining in Australia from 2011-12 to 2018-19. It provides information about revenue, exports, imports, and bauxite production for each year. Revenue increased from $1,746 million in 2011-12 to $3,258 million in 2018-19. Similarly, exports rose steadily from $326 million to $1,209 million during the same period. Imports fluctuated throughout the years, reaching a low of $1.50 million in 2018-19. Bauxite production also showed an overall upward trend, increasing from 72.9 megatons in 2011-12 to 102 megatons in 2018-19. Overall, revenue, exports, and bauxite production generally increased over the period, while imports showed some variation. The image illustrates the relationship between tree rings and climate conditions. It compares tree growth in cooler and warmer climates. In a cooler climate, trees grow more slowly and produce narrower tree rings. Less rainfall and shorter growing seasons can also limit their growth. In contrast, warmer climates generally allow trees to grow faster, resulting in wider tree rings, especially when there is more rainfall and a longer growing season. Overall, the image shows how the width of tree rings can provide information about past climate and growing conditions.
The graph illustrates the relationship between different types of diets and their nutritional composition, comparing high meat, medium meat, low meat, fish, vegetarian, and vegan diets. For fat, the difference gradually decreases from high meat to vegan diets, reaching around 16% lower. Saturated fat shows the largest decline, at approximately 48% lower. Protein also decreases by about 28%. In contrast, carbohydrate consumption increases significantly, reaching around 24% higher in diets with less or no meat. Total sugar consumption also shows an increase of approximately 10%. Overall, the graph suggests that diets with less meat tend to contain lower amounts of fat, saturated fat, and protein, but higher levels of carbohydrates and sugars. The line graph illustrates the annual sales growth from 2015 to 2024, measured in $1 million. Sales increased steadily from $45 million in 2015 to $72 million in 2019. However, there was a slight decline in 2020, when sales fell to $68 million. After that, sales started rising again, reaching $75 million in 2021, $85 million in 2022, and $95 million in 2023. The figure reached its highest point of $105 million in 2024. Overall, the graph shows a clear upward trend in annual sales, despite a small decline in 2020. The image shows a beautiful mountainous landscape with a clear blue lake surrounded by dense green forests. In the foreground, there is a wooden cabin near the lakeside, along with a small dock and a red canoe. The lake appears calm and reflects the surrounding mountains, trees, and sky. In the background, there are tall, snow-covered mountains under a bright blue sky with scattered white clouds. Some colorful flowers and rocks can also be seen near the edge of the lake. Overall, the image presents a peaceful and scenic natural environment with mountains, forests, a lake, and a small cabin.